You won't believe this. A man hijacked a plane, took $200,000 in ransom, and jumped off midair. Until today, no one knows who he was. No body, no trace, no arrest, just pure mystery. This is not a movie. This is the real-life story of D.B. Cooper, America's most legendary mystery man. Let's go back to November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. A man in his 40s, wearing a black suit, dark sunglasses, and carrying a briefcase, walks into Portland International Airport. He buys a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper for Flight 305 to Seattle. A normal man, calm, clean, polite, but what he did next made him one of the most wanted ghosts in FBI history. The plane took off at 2:50 p.m. Shortly after takeoff, the man handed a note to the flight attendant. At first, she didn't even look at it. She thought he was just flirting. But he whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Her hand shook. She opened the note. It clearly said he had a bomb, and he wanted $200,000 in cash for parachutes and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. Or he'd blow the plane. This wasn't just a threat. He even opened his briefcase, showing red cylinders, wires, and a battery. The flight crew immediately informed the cockpit. The pilot radioed the authorities. But here's the twist: no panic broke out. The man, now known as D.B. Cooper, was calm, well-spoken, and even polite to the crew. He ordered a bourbon and soda, paid for it, and tipped the stewardess. A polite criminal. Hijacking a Boeing 727 with 36 passengers on board. By the time the plane reached Seattle, the authorities had gathered the ransom money and the parachutes. Cooper let all 36 passengers go in exchange for the money and parachutes. But he kept the crew: the pilot, co-pilot, one flight attendant, and the flight engineer. Here comes the boldest part. Cooper told the pilot to take off again. Destination: Mexico City. Speed low, altitude 10,000 feet. Flaps 15 degrees. Landing gear down. He wanted very specific flight instructions, exactly the kind that would make jumping from a plane possible. Somewhere over the wilderness of Washington State, during a heavy storm with freezing winds at 10,000 feet, D.B. Cooper opened the rear stairs of the plane and jumped. That's right, he jumped into pitch darkness, freezing temperatures, and deadly forest land. With $200,000 strapped to his body, no one saw him again. FBI agents and military teams launched the biggest manhunt in U.S. history. Planes scanned the area. Soldiers searched the woods. Divers explored lakes and rivers, but there was no body, no parachute, no money, nothing. So, what really happened to D.B. Cooper? Over the years, dozens of suspects were investigated. Some were criminals. Some were ex-military. Some even confessed. But none matched all the details. Even the real name D.B. Cooper was never used by him. That was a media error. He had used the name Dan Cooper on the ticket. In 1980, a boy found $5,800 in decaying bills near the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. But there was still no trace of Cooper. So, did he survive the jump? Experts are divided. Some say, no way. Jumping in that storm, with heavy cash, without a clear landing spot, it was suicide. He probably died in the forest. But others say Cooper was too smart. He knew what he was doing. He picked a plane that could lower its rear stairs in flight. He knew exactly what altitude and speed to fly at. He chose Thanksgiving Eve, a time when airports and police were distracted. And he asked for 4 parachutes to make it look like he might take hostages so the FBI wouldn't sabotage the shoots. He planned it perfectly. Even the ransom money had random serial numbers, making it almost untraceable in the 70s. The FBI finally closed the case in 2016 without solving it. After 45 years, they officially gave up. No arrests, no closure. Just one question: who was DB Cooper? Some say he was a former military man. Others believe he was a skydiving expert or rogue CIA agent. There are even wild theories that he was Canadian or that he worked in the airline industry. But the truth, it's still up there. Somewhere in the clouds. Somewhere in the wind that carried D.B. Cooper into legend. Because Cooper didn't just hijack a plane, he hijacked history. He jumped and disappeared into myth.